that happened. I guess you could say, what the hell just happened? Yeah. Ooh, yeah. So, let me just say I'm doing this. But otherwise, welcome. No live reaction this year, but a post reaction, if you will, to this year's Eurovision Song Contest 2025. The winner this year was by not a crazy margin, but a decent margin, was Austria. So yeah, we'll dig into that. We'll look at the how the odds eventually stacked up. Because at the beginning, a couple of weeks ago, this was a surefire, easy win for Sweden. Let's take a look at it. So, for a quick fall down run through the results, I guess. Austria came first with 436 points. They were 9th in the running order. Second was Israel with 357 points, the majority of which was from the public. Austria was majority jury. Estonia came third, 356 points, again majority public. Sweden was 304th with 324 points, with most of the points from the public, but fairly split. Italy were 5th with 256 points, with most from the jury. Greece were 6th, 231 points. It was pretty equal. France were 7th, 230 points. Again, another one of the early favourites from the competition, with Sweden. Austria were always one of the early favourites. Majority of the points for them from the jury. Albania came 8th, 218 points. Majority of them from the public. Ukraine came 9th with Bird of Prey. They got 218 points. Again, most of them from the public. Switzerland came 10th with 214, with all of their points from the jury. They got none from the public. Finland were 11th with 196 points. They got a pretty even split. The Netherlands were 12th with most of their points from the jury. Latvia were 13th with 158 points, with most of their points coming from the jury. Poland came 156 points, with most of their points coming from the public. Germany came 15th with 151 points, and it was pretty even split. Then Lithuania came 16th with 96 points, with most of their points coming from the public. Malta came 17th with with 91 points, with most of their points coming from the jury. Norway came 18th with 89 points, with most of it coming from the public. We, United Kingdom, came 19th, one worse than last year with 88 points. Again, all of them coming from the jury, none from the public. Armenia was 20th with 72 points, with pretty even split. Portugal with 50 points, with most of them coming from the jury. Luxembourg was 22nd with 47 points, with pretty much even points between the public and jury. Denmark were 23rd with the same amount of points, 47. And they got 45 points from the jury, most of their points from the jury. Spain were 24th, 37 points, with most of them from the jury. Iceland got 33 points, with all of them from the public. And San Marino were last, but with 27 points, with double points from the public. One thing to note is this year the votes are a lot more spread, and particularly the jury. The jury is incredibly spread out. If you take a look at the jury, I mean, jury is 258, 214, 180, 159, 133, 126, 116. Like, the votes are incredibly spread out for the jury. Public are also very spread out. The top 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Top 9 countries all got over 100 points from the public. And last year that wasn't the case. I mean, last year we had Ukraine getting 307, and Israel getting 323, and Croatia getting 337. And most countries only kind of got, they didn't break the top, the double, 3 digits. So from the public, so it was the jury. No, it's definitely public. The jury last year again was very even. But the jury heavily favoured Switzerland. There wasn't a heavy favourite this year towards the end. Sweden were very much looking like they were going to be, but yeah, it ended up that no, they weren't really. It's just one of those weird things where people's opinions change, people see the performances on stage, and I think Austria won out based on that performance. You know what I mean? They had a very good staging. I have a feeling the countries that got 0 in the televote probably came like 11th or 12th in the televote, most likely. That's probably what's going on there. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the fallout from this is. Israel, yet again, popular in the public vote. And to me, and it does very much seem like the public vote decided this. Like, the public vote, the top 4 in the public vote were the top 4 in the final results. Not in the order, it was 2, 3, 4, 1. But you look at the jury, the top 4 in the jury were 1st, 10th, 7th, and 5th. So, bit of a dissonance. But I think Austria are... I don't think anyone's really going to be too upset with Austria winning. I don't think... People will be upset over Israel, obviously, but... Some people, you know, support them, so... It's just how it is. It's the most political, non-political event ever invented, I think, but you know, one of those things. It's hard to avoid. But yeah, let's have a look. So Austria, yeah, I'm not surprised about. Israel, they're always up there in the especially in the public vote from the beginning. If I were to be honest, Israel's performance is it's fine, but it's not spectacular. Estonia being so high up is not a surprise with the public. I'm surprised they actually got 98 points from the jury. I thought they would be way lower, the jury. In terms of the rest of the world vote, if you're wondering, because the results are out now, so the rest of the world vote only gave 1 point to the eventual winner. They didn't give anything to us. 2 points to Estonia, 3 points to Spain, 4 points to Poland, 5 points to Finland, 6 points to Spain. That's the rest of the world. 4 points to, I mean... Israel got 12 points from a lot of countries. Yeah, so, I mean, Austria got points from... I mean, our jury, they didn't actually get any points from our televote. But they didn't get any points from the Luxembourg televote as well. Luxembourg gave most of their points to France, obviously. The jury gave 6 points to us. But yeah. But looking at the leaderboard, it's quite interesting, really. In terms of the United Kingdom, we got pretty much all, we got literally all our points from the jury. In terms of like points they gave out, I'm interested to see the exact scoreboard here from the public. So if we look at those public votes to the United Kingdom, we got nothing, obviously. But I'd be curious to see exactly where we come in each of the results for each country. But I don't know if we'll know that until later. We got points, we got jury points from Poland, Ireland, Portugal, San Marino, Switzerland, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, Iceland, Spain, Luxembourg, Austria, Norway, Czech Republic, Ukraine, and we got 12 points from the Italian jury. 12 cheesy points, might I add. So yeah. So let's have a look. Any shockers? Any shockers? Greece being so high, I think. Greece being so high up. And Italy as well. Italy weren't looking too good, but they did well. Ukraine only getting 9th. France only getting 7th. I mean, they were touted for 2nd. Public just didn't go for it. Sweden getting 4th. I think they just didn't get the right share of votes. And I don't think their performance in the final, I don't think was as good as their performance in the semis as well, to be honest. Some weaker performances overall compared to the semis. I'm not sure why, just shaky. San Marino, I mean, there are certain countries like I'm not surprised about, like San Marino. Surprised about Iceland. just kind of got lost in the noise, I think, Iceland. I did think they would do a bit better, but they just got a bit lost in the noise. Spain, I thought, would do a lot better than they did, but Luxembourg, again, I thought they would do better. Quite a lot better than they did, but Portugal, I'm not surprised. Armenia, again, particularly surprised. Albania did way better than I expected. Way better. And Switzerland did decent. They did better than I thought, actually. Even though I know all the points give the jury, but they did better than I thought they would. Finland. Yeah, Finland didn't do as well as I think a lot of people thought. If we look at the odds, the final odds. Yeah, the final odds were Sweden to win, Austria to come second, France to come third, then Finland, then Estonia, then the Netherlands, and the Netherlands were like, where'd the Netherlands come? They come in 12th. So the odds this year just didn't get it right. You know? Usually they're not too bad, the odds, but yeah, they really did, the bookies didn't really get it this year. We got Germany almost right. Germany came 15th. Germany did fair enough. I mean, they did better than they had in previous years. They beat us. Malta beat us. I think Malta did worse than I think a lot of people thought, especially with the public vote. Finland put everything into it. I mean, that was fucking crazy. In terms of the top 5, in terms of the Balkan vote, Albania did beat Greece. No, they didn't. Greece beat Albania. Yeah, I mean, on the Balkan vote, like, the odds were that Albania would beat Greece, like, a ton. Obviously, there's only two Balkan countries in it. The other 4 got knocked out. Yeah, no, Greece beat Albania, so there were some good odds on them. 4-1. You could have got 3-1. Some good odds on that. Battling on the Balkans. The Nordic, Sweden, 3-50. And yeah, Sweden were the highest Nordic country. Out of the big 5, Italy actually beat out France, which was 8-1. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could have done well if you bet Italy to beat France. Because I did not expect them to do so well. I thought they'd do all right, but not very well at all. But they just, yeah, I think they came through a lot. In terms of the Baltic vote, there's Balkan and then there's the Baltic, I guess. So the Baltic vote, Estonia. Yeah, it's a pretty obvious one. In terms of the jury, people thought Austria would be the jury's favourite, and I think it was. Switzerland third, yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're pretty good at getting the juries. In terms of the televote, Sweden. They thought Sweden would do the best in televote, and they didn't. It was Israel and Estonia. They only came third. They got the top 3 right, though. Yeah, just the overall result's not right. Last, we were touted to come last, and we didn't. Who actually came last was San Marino. 12-1. 12-1 on San Marino to come last. Pretty good. But yeah, the bookies thought we would come last. We didn't. There were pretty good odds on Norway coming last, and they did okay. They beat us, so I thought Portugal would come last. The bookies thought Portugal came 21st, but I thought Portugal would come last. Yes. I just think, again, Portugal just sort of blended in, didn't really. I don't think I did as well this year with the final, guessing where things came. I think last year I was a tad more accurate. But I think this year, because the vote was so spread out, the difference between coming, 6th and 10th is only 15 points. You know? And the difference between, well, second and third is 1 point, so the votes were really super spread out this year. I think people just had their favourites and they went with them. But they definitely changed over time. It's interesting. Interesting to see how that all works out. So I thought Albania would do not great at all, but they came 8th. San Marino, I thought they would do shit, and they did. France, I thought they would come higher than they did. And I was on Sweden to win. I think I underestimated Austria quite a lot. I just didn't really think that it would do that well, but maybe, I don't know. Maybe I should have looked at the odds more. Estonia did better than I thought they would. I thought they would do well, but they did better than I thought they would. Yeah, and Italy. I'm surprised Italy did so well. Same with Greece. Greece did way better than I thought they would. Ukraine didn't quite do as well. I think I overestimated the public vote for Ukraine a little bit. And Switzerland did better than I thought. Finland did way worse than I thought. I thought Finland would do way better, but they just didn't get the votes, I guess. Anyway, let's see what the fallout from all of this is, because there's always a good fallout on Reddit. There will be people getting post Eurovision depression for some reason. Voting charges, apparently it's €1.50 in San Marino. Fuck. We're actually pretty cheap. Apparently we're on the cheaper end compared to Denmark. Anyway. Why is it so expensive in Finland to vote? Yes, so let's have a look at the takes. I think the thread has been locked for now. But let's have a look. Yeah, I'm glad Germany got some points, because Germany don't usually seem to do well, and it was a decent banger. So fuck it. But yeah, the voting this year was so strange. All the fucking different juries voting different things. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the cost to vote in some countries is crazy. But yeah. Yeah, I'm just having a read through with the reactions thread. Seeing if I can glean anything more from it. Yeah, 0 points from the televote for us in Switzerland. From the UK and Switzerland. We're not alone. But yeah. I don't know. What else? We got anything? Austria was clearly using auto-tune. Yes. That's the sort of shit I hate. I love. I hate the jury and I hate the televote. Yeah, that's the problem. People complain about the jury and then they complain about the televote. It's like, well, that's the point of having both. You hate both equally, so they marry together and in the end get to win. But yeah, it doesn't look like Ireland are happy. Oh god, people really do not like the televote winner. But then Ukraine wins and things like that, so it's just what do you expect is going to happen? You just gotta take everyone out, you know, at that point. Can we kick Israel next year? No! I want all the countries to come back. They need to invite Palestine as well. Because then we can have a battle. A real battle. But yeah. The competition... Oh god, the competition came down to the decisions of the jury. It didn't really, though. The jury didn't do much at all. All the jury did was vote for Austria highly. I don't if you look at it, it's fine. It's a normal... Dear. I think someone would be salty. I wouldn't say Sweden were robbed, but... Yeah, I don't know. God, people are salty as fuck. Because of course they are. What's great is I don't give a shit. It's the best thing. I just get to sit here and go, huh. Oh well. I mean, the song I like didn't win, but they never win. The song I like never wins, so... I don't care. My favourite was probably Germany's entry. Good old, Eurodance song, but... It's better, you know. All countries involved in conflict should be banned. Well, then that means Ukraine has to be banned as well. People are acting like this is a problem. Like, what's wrong with Austria winning? After years of yelling at the jury system, yeah, it's like people complaining about the jury, and now they're like, oh, thank God for the jury. And it's like, you people are so fucking stupid. Whilst getting 8 from the audience is proof that Jen said don't vote. How? Finland getting no points. No, we don't, because we can't afford to vote. But yeah, no, the fact is the jury was really spread out. That's the reason why the televote made such a difference this year, is because the jury was actually very spread out and voted for a lot of different countries. You know, I mean, like, you know, we got 12 points from the jury. Italy got 12 points from the jury. Germany got 12 points from the jury. Austria, France, Switzerland, you know, everyone got 12 points from the jury. And Latvia as well, which is cool. Because Latvia's weird as fuck, and I like the weird as fuck ones doing well. So hopefully it encourages people to do more weird shit. I'm not gonna lie, the interval act, I guess we'll talk about the actual... Let's talk about the actual competition, not the songs, the voting, or anything like that. The interval act was pretty weak this year. I don't think anything's topped... R1 from a couple of years ago. Yeah. Nor do I think anything's topped... what Sweden did a few years ago, the Eurovision tutorial song. That was pretty good. It felt a little bit like they threw it together. It doesn't feel like a one focused interval act. It felt just kind of like, what can we throw together? At this point, I'm expecting someone to send a metal song with operatic. Yeah, the sort of operatic high note stuff is very popular at the moment, isn't it? Metal song with operatic vocals, I'll take that. Yeah, if Finland can do that or something, hell yeah. Fuck it, why not? We'll do that, that sounds awesome. Yeah, Austria's gonna be interesting, because Austria have hosted it. How many times have Austria hosted it in the past? Eurovision. Well, how many times have Austria hosted it in the past? But look, Austria. When did they last hold it? So they've held it. They held it back in 2015 after Country to Worst one, where they basically lost on purpose, I think, because they got nil points. And then they won all the way back in 1966. So yeah, I'm playing all the bangers tonight, Mod FM. Yeah, it's a mixed competition, an interesting one. But I think... yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to think. Iceland got robbed. Eh. Iceland's okay. I don't remember much. I think I said, how did I say it do well? I didn't say it would do that well, to be honest, Iceland. I didn't realise it would do as badly as it did. I think originally I put it 20th, then I moved it up a bit to 18th. I did really struggle, to be honest, with putting these countries in. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. People are accusing Israel of paid propaganda, paid ads. So that, I don't know. The thing is, Ukraine won based on political votes. Right? And it doesn't matter if you support the political votes or not. The fact is that Eurovision is meant to be not political. So, people wanted Ukraine to win. That was not entirely political. Same sort of thing might happen to Israel. It probably won't next year. because the whole thing's probably blown over by this point. But it happens. You know? I think I said it last year. You've either got to allow it all or allow none of it. It's even, you know, it's like the Olympics. You either let them in or you don't. And if you want to ban any countries that are in conflict, then go for it. Ban Israel. But then you've got to ban Ukraine as well. You can't have double standards. Or you allow it all. And just deal with the consequences. Now, if Israel won, would they host it in Israel? Probably. It's not that long ago that the contest was held in Tel Aviv. I don't know. The problem is, it's a very complicated issue that has been bleeding into Eurovision. What do you do about it? The obvious answer is just to remove Israel from the competition. But what reason do they have? I know obvious, there is the obvious reason, but genuinely, what rules have they broken? Now, they could find some bullshit excuse like, you know, the network is propaganda, or something like that. You could do. But then you would have huge waves of people saying that the decision is anti-Semitic. You'd have huge waves of people saying that the decision to remove them is, you know, political, say, anti-Semitic, etc. I don't think the EBU can win in this scenario. And I think for them, the easiest thing is just to let them compete. Now, if it becomes too obvious, then they might have to start stepping in. We'll see what the response is. It's not like the juries didn't give Israel votes, you know? We'll see. Obviously, people don't want Israel in. I get that. I don't really care who is in it. You could always just lean on the old argument that what the fuck are Israel doing in this competition? They're not in Europe. You could become like old man yelling at cloud. If you wanted, you could take that argument if you wanted to. But then you'd have to kick Australia out, so. But then Australia aren't doing that well anyway. I don't know if they'll last much longer, to be honest, but we'll see. Dangerous now to make you ready to just go liking the juries in 5 minutes. Oh, it's funny. The thing is, I really only care about Eurovision for like 2 weeks of the year. And it's not like there hasn't been controversy over Israel in the competition in the past. There's been, you know, I mean, Russia were on fucking thin ice back in 2014, for example. And they were allowed to stay in. I think what they did in Ukraine broke the straw that broke the camel's back, if you know what I mean. That was what made them go enough. I think Bulgaria isn't allowed. I think they were banned, Bulgaria. Basically for their network being, you know, or something. I don't know. What do you do? Talk about the competition. Let's stop talking about Russia and Israel at war. What other countries at war now? There's some other country that's threatening to go to war. Oh, that's India, so that doesn't matter. That's fine. The competition itself, like the presentation, the staging is really good. The staging is good. I don't know if some, like, I think I've seen people mention online, the songs aren't as strong as they were last year. And I think I'd agree. I think Eurovision's in a bit of a weird situation now where it's not quite sure what kind of songs it wants at this point. But it's hard to say, really. I think there was a lot of different kind of songs. I think there were some very good songs this year, but I don't think it was quite up there with, you know, it definitely wasn't one of the best competitions in terms of song quality or anything like that, but I don't think it was awful. I think generally the presentation was decent. You know, it had, I think the sort of on-screen graphics that they have are well designed. I think they look nice. I don't think they're as good as last year's graphics, but yeah, they're nice. They look good. They're functional. I didn't like the fact that the leaderboard wasn't on screen the whole time during voting. That was annoying. I don't really need 2/3 of the screen being taken up by our hosts. That was a bit annoying. The Celine Dion thing was a bit of a publicity stunt, wasn't it? She was never going to turn up, was she? But I do think it was generally a weaker competition compared to last year. I think the inexperience in hosting this sort of thing, I think, showed. I think the hosts were fine. They did a good job for the most part. But, yeah, it was fine. It was a fine Eurovision. It wasn't outstanding. It wasn't crazy. I'd be curious to see where they go next year. Probably Vienna. To be honest, I do think 20 votes per person is too many. I think they need to lower it down to like 10. I think 20 votes is too much. It's obviously for money, but yeah. They think there are people saying that the results need to be looked into, but to be honest, the thing is that the results are the results. They are. It's just how they come in. I wouldn't question, I wouldn't question the BBC, especially because, trust me, we've had televoting scandals in the past. About 15 years ago, there was a massive televoting scandal. About 15 years ago, and it was bad. I think so. People are still walking on eggshells in terms of televotes over here now. But yeah, I don't know. you know, there's always been political voting in Eurovision, whether it's between countries that are neighbouring, which always happens, countries that like each other, which always happens, and now it's world situations, you know, Ukraine, Israel, etc. Not me. But yeah, that was Eurovision 2025. I'm not really sure what else to say, really. There's probably more I can say. Like I say, I'm curious to see what Austria do for the 70th running of the Eurovision Song Contest, so a decent anniversary. I don't know if they'll do anything. They'll probably save everything for the 75th. But yeah. The presentation was a tad lackluster. But I get Switzerland is a small country. There's not a ton that they can put into it. Some people thought, yeah, I mean, you could listen to the new collaboration song, which I thought was fine, not my thing. Being part of the interval, I guess, was fun. Martin Osterdal is not allowed to speak anymore because people don't like him. So that's funny. But yeah. So yeah, I think that'll do. I can't think of anything else to say. I think it's been an interesting competition. I think next week what I'll do is... Yeah, next week what we'll do is we'll do Eurovision 2005 to see what things were like 20 years ago. Just to absorb that good old mid-2000s stank. But yeah. An intriguing competition, which will be interesting for the data analysis people will be absolutely licking their lips at this one, I think. Just because the vote spread is so interesting, especially among the juries. I don't really care who wins. I don't care if, you know, I don't care if Israel wins. I don't care if Ukraine wins, unless they beat us by 1 point or some bullshit like that again. I feel like Estonia probably feel rather robbed because they came third by 1 point. I'm not sure how Estonia did that well, but yeah. And it won, yeah, the same objective musical show the Cypriot jury used in awarding 12 points to Greece. And some people really did like Israel. I thought Israel was pretty meh. I think there were quite a lot more better songs. I put them in 9th just out of hope that they wouldn't eat up all the votes, but they did. But it's not like they didn't get a decent amount from the televote jury, but not that many. Okay, I think that's a good end. But whatever. I mean, where else have they got? Spain coming 15th. Well, I thought they would come 15th. They came lower than I thought they would. Anyway, thank you for watching. This is my feelings exactly. The fallout of this is going to be interesting. I knew it would be. But let the preparations for Austria 26 commence. Alright, that's a long time away. And hopefully it's a bit more of an interesting... This was a bit of a meh competition. It wasn't that interesting, to be honest, compared to the last couple of years. Right. Well, bye-bye, thank you for watching. Hopefully I'm surprised we did better than I expected, to be fair. We came 19th or something, which is better than I thought. I thought we would genuinely come like 23rd or something. The jury was very kind to us, I feel, so... There he is. One last look at our favourite Lumo. He made like one appearance during the competition entirely. Well, that's all else to say. So goodbye. Thank you for watching, and see you next week.